Hey everyone, what's poppin', what's tea? It's your girl Spicy Niche, and we are back this week to talk about The Men's Club, episode 3 and 4. So we start off episode 3 with Lewis and Aminu discussing. Lewis is basically updating Aminu on everything that's been going on between him and Lola and the IVF. Lola basically states that she cannot go from mistress to husband stature to now barren, and how having a child is very, very important to her. But Lewis just feels as though watching her go through the 2 miscarriages was one of the hardest things that he's ever had to do. And is basically telling Aminu, like, what if what if this does not work? What if IVF does not work? And, she still can't have a child. Like, I can't watch her go through all of the pain. But Aminu just basically advises him, telling him that, whatever happens, just be there. Just support her through whatever she wants to do and, hope for the best. And I completely agree with Amino. I feel like in this time, Lola just needs support from Lewis throughout this whole entire process. Watching this scene, I still see that Pere is trying to mimic the old Aminu. You know how the old Aminu, Ayola, used to stutter over his words and everything like that? That was literally what Pere was doing in this scene. And it really turned me off because I'm still waiting for him to wow me and to own this character. Tayo is basically updating the group that his brother came to his house to beg for forgiveness after all this time has passed by. And then Lanre is updating the group on what's happening between Tenny and his mom. Now, what killed me about Lanre's mom is when she said, "Oh, he's your son now that he's sucking your breast." Now that took me out. And I really think that she's owning this role. Like, she is owning this character. She is delivering. The dramatics are believable. Like, she is literally everything in this series. Then Lanre is updating the group, basically telling them that he's going to become a father. And Lewis begs him, like, please do not tell Lola. This is something that she wants and her mom now has. So please, whatever you do not tell Lola that her mother, Tenny, is pregnant. Then we see Lanre and Tenny meet up. Lanre is super excited to be a father, and Tenny is just looking at him like, excuse me, like, I haven't even decided what I want to do with this pregnancy. I'm 50 plus. Do you think I want to have a baby? Like, and I don't like how Lanre is just not even giving her a choice. He's like, this is my baby. Like, you're going to have this baby. Like, what do you think she feels as a 50 plus woman, like, going through pregnancy again when she has a full grown daughter who equally cannot have children at this present moment? Like, I did not like that from him at all. Later on, we see Aminu talking with Oname, which is his social media publicist. And she's basically saying, hey, it's important for you and Tumini to own the narrative. You don't want the media finding out about your relationship. But they both make it very clear that Tumini is not to be involved in any of the social media posts or anything like that. They want to keep this whole relationship a secret, and that is what they agree on. We then see Patrick go all the way to the village to look for Jasmine, aka Promise. So when he finds her father, the father basically tells him, look, those 2 women, my wife and my daughter, they are thieves. They are crooks. Wherever they are, they will not be found until they are ready to be found. Which is kind of unfortunate because, Nas, the baby, really needs his mother, and the fact that she just abandoned them is still kind of crazy. But I really like how we see Patrick really stepping up and being like, hey, this is my responsibility and I'm going to take care of it. So we move on to Tayo and Hadiza having a conversation. Now, again, as I mentioned before, we never look back to talk about how Tayo got robbed by the woman that Hadiza set him up with. So why even put it in the series? Why put it in the series? If we're not going to follow up on that storyline, why put it in there? We could have just cut that entire part out. It was unnecessary. So then Hadiza asks Tayo if he asked his friends for the capital to start the business, the construction business. And he says no. He says this is something that he really wants to do on his own. And that is that storyline. We see Lewis reconcile with Lola, saying that he will go through with the IVF and be by her side throughout the whole process. And then we see Tunde, which is Tayo's brother, reappear again. So apparently he is getting married and his wife will not marry him if she does not meet Tayo. So my question now is, why come back after all, these years? Like, why are we redigging this storyline? Like, I'm very curious to see why this was necessary in the series for Tayo's character storyline. I think that this is one that could have just been deaded, but I also do feel like it's been so long, like we haven't like caught up with what Naomi is doing, what Tunde is doing, like what happened with that. Like Tayo's brother had a whole child and allowed him to think that that child was his. Like we didn't really follow up with that storyline. So I guess that's what they're trying to do here. But I'm very curious to see what way they are going to show us Tayo and Tunde, whether they will reconcile or whether they will still be at odds. We now move on to Aminu's family dinner. We finally meet his sister Liana, and we find out that his father is retiring and is looking for someone to take over the company. Now, that being said, Aminu no longer works for his father's company, so his father feels as though it's only right that Patrick take over since he is still currently working for the company. Now, Aminu's mom does not feel the same way. She feels like this is Aminu's birthright. This is what Aminu should do. This is Aminu's inheritance. She's insulting Patrick, calling his mom a prostitute. And I really am starting to feel for Patrick. I feel like Patrick did his dirt, yes, but the fact that Aminu has forgiven him, I feel like everybody just needs to move on because nobody felt it worse than Aminu. So if Aminu can forgive him, then everybody else needs to just move on from the situation. But I really felt bad when Aminu's mom was cursing Patrick, calling him all kinds of names. It seems like throughout the past few episodes, Patrick has been really walking on eggshells, with nods and everything. It's just been really bad. So Aminu's mom storms off in anger, and that is that. Now we move back on to Lanre, and his mom says that she is moving to Lagos because since her prayers are not connecting from afar, she must be in front of Lanre so the prayer can connect. I said, well, woo. Then Lanre lets her know that she has a grandchild, so she should be helping her prayers connect to the grandchild that they're about to have. And she is not having it. Again, like I said, Lanre's mom is really just giving me the energy, the vim in this entire role. We then move on to Funi and Tayo going on a date. Now, again, like I just don't like how she was introduced into the series. Like, where did she come from? Like, seriously, like, where did she come from? Like, I just don't understand the storyline of this introduction. Like, all we saw was her appear at Tayo's house, and I'm not understanding the relation or correlation. So yeah, anyways, they go on this date, and while he's on this date, he hears Tiara's laugh. And then he runs out to see if it's Tiara, and she is not there. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that Tessa, who is Lewis's bar manager, has a crush on Lanre. And throughout the last two episodes and this episode, we see how she's always trying to cater to Lanre and all those kind of things. Now I don't know how far they're going to explore this storyline, but I am interested to see it. And that is pretty much episode 3. I kind of breezed through it because, in my opinion, I don't feel like it was much. But yeah, now we are moving on to episode 4. So we close episode 3 with Tayo hearing Tiara's laugh, and then we open episode 4 with him running out to see if it's her. And then by the time he gets outside, the person is gone. So him and Hadiza are having a conversation about this, and she basically tells him, like, let her go. Like, it's been a year. If she wanted to be found by now, she would have been found by now. She doesn't want to talk to you. You text her all the time. Let her go. We then move on to Aminu and his sister Liana discussing Patrick when he's literally 2 feet away from them. Like, they're whispering under their breath and they're discussing Patrick like he cannot hear them because he's literally right there. Like, I don't know what the producers were thinking when they filmed this scene, or like, I don't know. I just would have wished that it wouldn't be like, oh, they're just sitting there discussing Patrick like he's literally not right there and can't hear everything that they're saying. Like, I don't know if that was the point, but I think it would have made more sense for them to be discussing Patrick somewhere else while Patrick is sitting on the couch, as opposed to them just discussing him like he's invisible. But anyways, Patrick is upset about the dinner for obvious reasons and just feels like it is best for him and Nas to just stay away and just not come to these kind of things. We then move on to Lanre and Tenny. and their whole argument about the baby. Now, Tenny does mention that it's surprising that Lonray is so for this baby because he stated before that he never wanted marriage and he never wanted kids. And Lonray is like, well, it's pretty much okay for me to change my mind, and he really wants this baby with Tenny. We then move on to Patrick and Aminu. So Patrick basically tells Aminu, you know what? I think things are better when we're at war. I don't think this whole peace thing works. And Aminu walks away, and Patrick's like, "Oh, this is what you always do. You always walk away." And Aminu was like, "This is what I do when I know the person that wants to fight me doesn't even have the facilities." I said, "Ooh, let him know." But honestly, I just feel like we've killed this storyline. I feel like we've killed this storyline, and I don't know why we're redigging back this storyline. I feel like we should just continue with them, being on one accord. Like, I don't really care to see them, fighting. I don't know. I guess that's the extra drama they wanted to add to the series, but I personally don't feel like that's necessary. I feel like what is more necessary is them figuring out where Jasmine is. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of redigging the whole brother enemies storyline. We now move on to Tayo going all the way to Tiara's dad just to get in touch with her. And Tiara's dad tells him straight up, listen, if she's my daughter, I like you, I respect you, I would even loan you money, but I don't want to get involved in you all's relationship. And you can really see that Tayo is so dedicated to getting back with Tiara. Like, the fact that he even went all the way to her father's office to try and get in contact with her really shows that he really does miss this girl. Then all the guys meet up at the lounge, Lewis's lounge, where Lanray announces that Tenny is pregnant. Now he even had the audacity, the nerve to tell Lewis, hey, can you beg Lola to tell Tenny to keep this baby? Ha! You want him to beg Lola that is struggling to have a child, that even at her mom's big age of 50 plus, she's able to have a child, something that her daughter who is younger than her cannot do. Like, I cannot believe the audacity, the nerve of Lanray to ask Lewis of such a hefty request. And Lewis politely tells him, look, listen, I can't do that. I can't do that. Like, why would I do that? Does that even make sense? Like, come on now. We later find out that Lola actually knows her mom is pregnant and she's content with it. And I love how she finally apologizes to Lewis for making him walk on eggshells this whole time with her. Like, he's just been like, she's moody, she's this, she's all of those things. And I'm so happy to see her finally apologize to Lewis. We then move on to see Lanray knocking on Tenny's door like she owes him money or what's going on. Why are you knocking like that? And in my head, I thought, why doesn't he just get another key? And as soon as I thought that, Tenny said it like, you can just go get a second key made. Like, seriously. Lanray is yelling at Tenny to go get a proper checkup so they know what is going on. And then we see Lola walk in and tell Lanray, hey, why are you yelling at my mom like that? Is she your mate? And I love Lanray's response. Yeah, she's my mate because we're having a child together. Yeah. Like, that was such an epic response. But I love how we see that Lola is mature enough to tell her mom, listen, like, if you want to keep this baby, keep it for you. Don't make your decision based off of me, or if you feel like, it's something that my own child can't have, so why would I have it? No, like, I love how she's mature enough to say, hey, whatever decision you make, do not make it because of me. Now, I was so happy when Lewis kept mentioning that he's finally getting a divorce from Tonye, but of course, they would not let it go. She would not let him go that easily. So when they are there to sign the divorce papers, Tonya tells him, yeah, I want 2 million naira, I want this, and I want Lola to stay completely away from my child. I want full custody of the child. Like, just changing up the terms of their entire agreement, as I knew that she would do. She wouldn't let Lewis off that easily. But that was kind of annoying. I can imagine how Lewis feels like, oh, I'm finally going to get this divorce. I'm going to be able to marry Lola. And then we throw in this plot twist. I'm interested to see in the next coming episodes how Lola is going to feel about Tonye switching things up on them again and using the baby as a pawn once again. We find out that Tenny is not pregnant. She is not pregnant, because I was really interested to see how they would sell us this storyline. But we find out that she's not pregnant. She goes to the doctor to get a proper checkup. I didn't really like the acting of the doctor. I didn't feel like she was very good. But she's not pregnant, and they are still running tests to find out what may have caused the false positive test. So I'm interested to see what's going on with that. I'm interested to see what Lola's reaction will be, what the entire group's reaction will be now knowing that Tenny is not pregnant. So then we move on to see Hadiza and Tayo going shopping in this boutique. And conveniently, the boutique they are shopping at is owned by Tiara. So we finally get to see Tiara come back on the screen. And she's attending to them. She's like, "Oh no, Hadiza, you're a customer. Like, I'm gonna take care of you." And they're trying to make it, Hadiza and Tayo, very clear that they're not together. Hadiza has a boyfriend, and there's nothing going on here. Tayo begs for Tiara, and Tiara just basically tells him, "Look, like, I'm not ready to see you yet. I really don't want anything to do with you." And I'm interested to see how Tayo is gonna take that now, knowing where her boutique is. Now we move on to Aminu and Tumini. Aminu is, I guess, speaking at some type of event that Tumini will also be at. And they completely act like they don't know each other. And then Tumini overhears some ladies talking about Aminu and how she wants him. And Tumini interrupts their conversation like, you think it's easy to date a millionaire?" And the lady's like, Tumini, how would you know? Do you have a millionaire boyfriend? I said, little do they know. And then as Tumini is walking by, I guess somebody tries to grab her arm, and Aminu quickly jumps in and is like, "Oh, don't put your filthy hands on her." And that is where people now see that the two of them are together, because Aminu, after that, then kisses Tumini and then tells her boss that, "Hey, by the way, Tumini quits." Wow. Wow. You can tell that Tumini is mad when he drags her all the way to the car and everything. So I guess I'm interested to see like how they will explore this in the next upcoming episodes. Of course I know Tumini will be mad, but I think that it's finally good that their relationship is going public, because it will give Tumini the opportunity to really decide if this is what she wants to do. I understand that she wanted to keep things public. She didn't want to be in the public eye, but at the end of the day, this is what you signed up for when you signed up to date Aminu the billionaire. So it comes with the territory. And I'm interested to see how they will explore that in the next episode. Now we close the episode seeing Miss Jasmine packing her things while her mom is sleeping, taking some money and clothes. And I'm guessing that she'll be making an appearance in the next couple of episodes moving forward. So my thoughts on episode 3 and 4, I mean, I thought they were good. I feel like we are moving forth with some conflict resolution. I'm wondering, how many episodes are we going to have this season? Like, is it just going to be 10, 12? Like, how many episodes are we going to have? I guess just so someone can anticipate the end, you know what I mean? But I'm very curious to see what episode 5 and 6 hold for us. And yeah, that's all I have to really say about episode 3 and 4. But you guys can let me know what you thought of episode 3 and 4 down below. I'm so happy that they've gotten it together to where Nigeria, UK, USA, we are all getting the episodes on the same day. We all get them on Friday, and I'm happy they corrected that error. So you guys let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you next week for episode 5 and 6 for my review of The Men's Club.